So there's different levels of gayness. I suppose at one end you have like bromance, you have like implicit whiteness. Then moving a bit closer, you have bro jobs, and then you have gay sex. Then you have standard fuck party, but there's something that's even gayer than standard fuck party, and that is the target of this article. This article, I didn't believe. This is a new low, even for the left. On one hand, though, it's depressing. On the other hand, this is our enemies. These are the people who we are going to have to fight against. Unlike the White Russian forces, for instance, we don't have to contend with commies. We don't have to do what the Contras did and fight against the Sandinistas. We don't have to fight against, like, tough people tempered by lives of hardship who are willing to die for their cause and are brutal killers. No, we have to contend with these faggots. And you notice I don't often use that term, but these people are just such fucking beta male faggots. I can't believe it. Now, I'm just going to say as a disclaimer, if Trump had have lost, I probably would have cried. I would have been depressed for weeks. But there's nothing wrong with being depressed. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion. What's wrong is expecting to be treated like a child when something doesn't go your way. So let's just get into this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's just read through this article. One of the more amusing bits of fallout from last week's election has been the safe space response of many colleges and universities to the election of the wrong candidate. But on closer inspection, this response isn't really amusing. In fact, it's downright mean. Now, safe spaces are funny. I wish I had safe spaces back when I was in university. Somewhere where just the beta males weren't attacking me. And I say this as someone who doesn't, like, lift, as someone who doesn't really go outside that often, as someone who doesn't hunt or do any kind of traditionally manly activities. But I at least have some self-respect compared to these faggots. Okay, so let's just go on. Donald Trump's substantial victory, which when most progressives expected a Hillary Clinton landslide, came as a shock to many. That shock seems to have been multiplied in academia, where few people seem to know any Trump supporters, or at least any Trump supporters will admit it. Now, I actually posted this on my my normie Facebook, that I was happy that Trump won, and I had people unfriend me. I had a lot of people just freak out and start crying and stuff. Normie Facebook was just flooded with bullshit. It's better in Canada to be a rapist than to openly support the Donald. So the response to the shock has been turned... Okay, this is where we're getting into faggotry. The response to the shock has been to turn campuses into kindergarten. The University of Michigan Law School announced a post-election self-care event. Event with food and play, including coloring sheets, Play-Doh, positive card making. Okay, positive card making, that sounds like the faggiest thing possible. Lego and bubbles with your fellow law students. This is the people we expect to be leading the country. This is the next generation. These are law students who are having a event like this. Okay, let's just do a couple disclaimers. I used to work at a bookstore. Adult coloring books are really big. It's supposed to relieve stress. I think it's kind of goofy, but I like to play video games. So, I mean, whatever you want to do to unwind, that's fine. I don't really have an issue with that. To each his own. It's not really self-destructive or harmful. Lego's a lot of fun. I used to play with Lego all the time as a kid. I have friends who still play with Lego. They enjoy just building stuff. Lots of adults play with Lego. There's nothing wrong with that. Bubbles can be fun at a park. The issue with this is that these people are so just infantile and beta that something doesn't go their way and they have to publicly engage in childlike behavior. I mean, in a lot of cases, you just go, I guess to my mind, you might make like a public statement of how sad you are, but when you're grieving, you kind of do it in private or you do it with friends. To just do this outpouring of like fake crocodile tears just disgusts me. It's not even like 9/11 or like ISIS. I used to have a fair amount of grief just when ISIS was killing people. I would sometimes when I was reading the stories, I just start crying in public. Just when they were there's that one monastery where they beheaded like dozens of monks, and then they blew up like a 3,000 like a 1,500-year-old monastery, and I cried for that. But that was real grief. Stanford emailed its students and faculty that psychological counseling was available for those experiencing uncertainty, anger, anxiety, and or fear following the election. Now, I admit when Obama won, I actually did cry. When Justin Trudeau won, I cried. But I didn't go on campus. I didn't demand fucking Play-Doh and psychological counseling and to be treated like a fucking infant. No, I have too much self-respect for that. And these people should have that self-respect too. Let's see here. Meanwhile, even the Ivy League wasn't immune. Within the University of Pennsylvania, Trump's alma mater, a post-election safe space with puppies and coloring books. Student Daniel Tancredi reported that the people who attended were fearful about the results of the election. For the most part, students just hung out, ate snacks, and made small talk. Of course, that was in addition to coloring and playing with animals. I mean, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is what our kids are like these days. Now, I'd like to make another, maybe I'm being excessively fair, but that's something people like about me, I'm fair. I love animals. I love puppies. I love puppies. If this was like during exam season, someone on my wall posted, and they said during exam season they sometimes will have the Humane Society or some other animal charity or something bring in some dogs, some like puppies and kittens and dogs for the students to kind of relieve some stress. That's fine. I love animals. It's not about any of these activities per se. It's the infantile reaction to it. Like I said, like whenever I go to a friend's house and they have a puppy, I always start playing with it. I don't know, maybe that hurts my masculinity, but dogs are manly animals. At Cornell, students held a cry-in. As the event took place, roughly 20 or so, according to Cornell's Daily Suns, wrote the reactions and emotions on poster boards with colored markers or with chalk on the ground. They found their voice. Oh, such faggotry. The chilly day on Ithaca campus, at one point, the demonstrators huddled together as what appeared to be baristas brought them warm drinks. And see, this is it. Like, once again, I get if you like nice coffee. I don't really give a crap. I like decent coffee. Tim's coffee is pretty shitty. I like McDonald's coffee myself. That's about as fancy as I get. But if you want like nice drinks, there's nothing wrong with that. But like this is just kind of another thing. These people, they can't even drink normal coffee. If I'm going to a meeting or something, I just drink whatever the coffee is they have there. I don't go and like demand it, especially if I'm a fucking university student. Several adults, most likely professors, stood around the group. The event appeared to take on the atmosphere of a funeral wake. Yale had a group scream. Oh my god, what is this? Okay, can we see what this group screen looks like? They don't have a picture of it. 2 golden doodles, 2 Eskimo dogs. Oh, that's a cute dog. Why can't they ever bring dogs into my work? Healthy snacks, probably some like faggy granola. Actually, I like granola, but whatever. At Tufts, the university offered arts and crafts. Well, the University of Kansas reminds students that there would be plenty of therapy dogs available. Like, this is such an insult to people who've undergone actual stress. Like, maybe you've gotten raped, maybe like some psycho mugged you and cut you up, and you actually like have an animal to comfort you. And these fucking faggots can't accept the result of an election. This is how weak our enemies are, ladies and gentlemen. These people are just pathetic. I mean, this isn't even funny. It's just sad. It's easy to mock this as juvenile silliness because it is juvenile silliness. But that's not all it is. It's also exactly what the schools purport to abhor, an effort to marginalize and silence part of the university community. In an email to students, our responsibility is to remain committed to education, discovery, and intellectual honesty, and to diversity, equity, and inclusion, unless you disagree with me. People say, well, Argent, you don't accept people who disagree with you. Yeah, but I don't put diversity, equity, and inclusion as my channel motto. We are at our best when we come together to engage respectful across ideological differences, to support all who feel marginalized, threatened, or unwelcome, and to pursue knowledge and understanding. I remember back in university when I used to get into fights with people, and they would just break down and cry. Because they'd never met anybody who actually fucking acted like a man. And some of these people were like football players, and they were like, I'm actually pretty tall, but they were like these muscular guys. But they just had no balls, and I would just destroy them. We are at our best. We come together to engage. Okay, whatever. But when you treat an election in which the wrong candidate wins as a traumatic event on par with the 9/11 attacks, calling for consulate counseling and safe spaces, you're implicitly saying that everyone who supported the wrong candidate is unsafe. Let's see here. Trump won the state of Michigan, but Michigan State is taking part in this. So there are probably people who voted for them. So they aren't really included in acceptable campus culture. Okay, so this is all really kind of basic bitch. This sort of fear and othering of political opponents is why Trump won and why the Democrats were shocked by his victory. It's too if it's not that, it's too triggering. So that is our enemies, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people we're fighting against. I kind of like our odds a bit more after seeing this. So let's just smirk and feast on those liberal tears.